Hi everybody, I'm Alexis and I own Soul Food Farm with my husband Eric. And Soul Food Farm is located here on Pleasance Valley Road in Vacaville, California. We bought the farm 20 years ago and we've been creating it ever since with new plants, animals, and new products that we're developing. Right now I'm standing in the middle of the lavender field, and this is a partnership with Rose, who owns Morningsun Herb Farm, and we collaborate on the lavender field together. So we make lavender essential oil, we sell dried and fresh flowers, we do workshops, and it's just been a friendship we've been bringing together for the last few years to create something beautiful and something that we can share with the public, and also a chance for two farmers to work together. So Soul Food Farm has a whole list of products that we've developed over the last 20 years. We produce olive oil from an orchard we planted with our family over 20 years ago. We have farm fresh eggs that we sell. We produce yarn from our East Frisian sheep. And we also have a CSA that we've been developing over the last 2 months, where we collaborate with farmers from all over the region and help them sell their products. And that's something that you can see online at soulfoodfarmcsa.com. So even though we're a small family farm, we have a lot of things going on here. And like most farmers, we're working round the clock to make sure that we can juggle all the projects and chores that need to be done every day. But as soon as this 2020 year kind of wraps itself up, we hope by next spring we'll be able to open up to the public again and invite you back to the farm to see all that we've been working on. Good morning, I'm Alexis and I own Soul Food Farm, and I wanted to welcome you here to the farm this morning and to look at our lavender field. A lot of people think the lavender field belongs to Soul Food Farm, but actually it's a partnership between myself and Rose, who owns Morningsun Herb Farm. And because we just didn't have enough to do, we decided to form another business and another little farm enterprise, and we've named it Hierbas Y Flores. We named it a Spanish name for several reasons. Both of us are from Spanish heritage. My mom's from Peru, Rose's grandparents are from Spain. And we named it Hierbas Y Flores because Rose has an herb farm and I have flowers on Soul Food Farm. And we just thought it was a nice combination of history and connection to California and to Spain and to Spanish culture and to the work we do. So as the years go by, we realize we don't always talk about Hierbas Y Flores enough. And so I'm hoping with this little video, I can introduce you to this new enterprise and project we have together. So anyway, here's the lavender field. We have 9 different types of lavender planted out here. A few years ago, Rose and I thought, oh, let's plant a field of lavender. What a simple idea that turned into, I don't know, an adventure in a lot of ways. So let me show you what some of the varieties are. So this variety is Arctic Blue and Dwarf White. And I don't think a lot of people realize that lavender actually comes with a white flower. There's 2 varieties. This and Edelweiss are the 2 that I know about. There's even a variety that has pink flowers, but in this field we have mostly purple. Over here we have Imperial Gem, which I love. It's a culinary variety, and this is the one that we harvest and we send over to Hurley Farms, who makes Hierbas Y Flores' delicious strawberry lavender jam. And then over here, we have another gorgeous variety that I love because of its dark purple flowers. And this is Hidcote Blue. And this is a great variety. It's a culinary variety. We make our lavender lemonade with this. It's also dries very beautifully and keeps its color, and it's really a fantastic one to use for crafts as well. And then over here is the other white variety we were talking about, or I mentioned. And this is Edelweiss. It didn't take very well in this field, so we're going to replant all the missing sections with more Imperial Gem. But I love this. When it blooms, it's just a field of white, and it's so beautiful. So we'll cut this year and dry it and see how well it dries, and we'll use it in our wreath making classes. And then over here we have a variety called Phenomenal. Beautiful long stems and dark purple spikes. And if you look down the length of this row, you can just see how impressive it is to look at all this lavender in one long, I think this is a 220-foot long row. And there's so many bees out here drinking nectar and getting their lavender buzz on. And now over here is Provence. And I think this is a variety most people know about. And of course, when you say Provence, the first thing you think of is France. So this is a very beautiful, beautiful, a little lighter, fairer purple than the Phenomenal, but smells divine. Right now, we have bees on the farm that belong to Clayford, and he's a beekeeper, and his bees are just going mad out here in the lavender field right now. And then these last three rows are a variety that most everybody would recognize if they could smell it, because it's Grosso. And Grosso is a variety that you find in a lot of products. So, and a lot of essential oils are made with Grosso. But these make gorgeous cut flowers, and we hope to plant maybe some more of this. So those are the 9 that we have on this field. And then if you turn around, we have a little plot here. And this is Mayette, and Rose and I make essential oil and lavender hydrosol and a couple of other products. But really this variety of lavender is incredibly special and unique, and it makes a very high grade lavender essential oil. So we keep this plot separate from everything else. And as you can see, it's really beginning to open up, and we'll be harvesting this pretty soon. Maybe in the next, I don't know, by the look of it, probably in the next 5 or 6 days. And then Rose and I, we bought a copper still last year, and we'll distill our own lavender essential oil and flower water this year. So it's definitely hands-on, grassrootsy, do it yourself, and that works really well for Rose and I with our small businesses, and it just helps us kind of just stay creative and keep management control over everything we're doing. So anyway, just take a look around. This time of year, it's super beautiful. So some of the adventures Rose and I have had on this particular field is just learning what the lay of the land was going to dictate to us while we were planting this field. So Rose always insists that we mound up the rows and lay them with weed cloth so we don't have to weed, and the mounding up helps with drainage. And I always follow her advice because she really is the expert in lavender. And we planted this field up on mounds, 200-foot long rows with weed barrier. What we didn't expect was in I think it was January of 2019, we would have almost 50 inches of rain in a very short amount of time, like in 2 months. This whole field flooded, which it didn't occur to me it was going to happen. I didn't realize we had poor drainage here. So even with the mounding up of the rows, there was no drainage happening, and so the lavender sat in water for months. Well, it's a Mediterranean plant. It's a good drought-tolerant plant. They don't like to sit with their roots in water. So we lost a huge part of the field, and we had to replant it. But those are setbacks that happen in farming. There's not much you can do about it except learn and mitigate for the next time. So what we've done is we're working on the alleyways to make sure that they have improved carbon sequestration and drainage, and we're keeping on top of the weeds so that it doesn't hold water as much in the next big rain event. So management is a huge issue, and and if we end up having another huge rain event like that, then we'll probably go a step higher and maybe dig a trench around the field to help with water runoff. But yeah, it's hard to imagine that this field was almost completely lost just a year ago, but with hard pruning, fertilizing, replanting, we were able to bring it back. So a little behind the scenes on what really happened here and what it took to make the field look this way. But if you come down here, I'll show you where we decided, instead of replanting to do a totally new concept. So the part of the field that's on this side flooded so badly and we lost over 90% of the plants, we decided not to replant at all. Instead, we filled all the holes where the former lavender plants had been with perennials. So we planted over 700 perennials in the second half of the field. And we just thought how beautiful it would be someday to come out here to the lavender field and then just see a whole perennial field behind it. So promoting biodiversity, bringing in all the kinds of pollinators, butterflies, hummingbirds, and just also a second level of beauty that people can sit and see and relax. So even though we're social distancing this year, next year when we open up the farm and the perennials have really matured, we're going to set picnic tables out there and you guys can come and just sit and hang out. But I'd love to show you the plants, the baby plants, so you can see how it's going to progress. Isn't it beautiful?
So pretty.
I know. So these were all plants that Rose couldn't sell at Morningsun Herb Farm. They were in 4-inch pots, but maybe they weren't at the peak of the best they could be to sell retail. So she brought them over here and we decided to baby them and put them in the ground and see what happened. And this is, that was in, let me think, it's hard to remember all this. Maybe that was in October, November of 2019. And so they've had a long time in the ground and they're really beginning to come up. And you can just see there's so many different perennials out there, huge variety. And next year, everything will be totally filled in. So by next year, these perennials will be like this. I mean, you probably won't see much of the black weed cloth underneath because they will grow so high and so tall. So I think it'll really make an impact next year for people to come in and see it. And of course, it'll not only bring bees, but it'll bring, a lot of these will bring butterflies and hummingbirds, and it could be a pretty special space. Yeah, so we decided that whatever lavender survived, we would just leave it because this section of the field is more like a garden now, as opposed to the lavender field. This is going to be more, so all these little spots of lavender that survived the major flooding really look beautiful. But you can see all the plants in here and you can see how much of this field we lost. Like, except for this 2 little rows that we replanted, that's all new planting, those baby plants here at the smaller lavender plants at the front. We wanted to just make a border for that middle alley, but basically this whole field was a loss and just sat underwater for too long. But you know, it's funny, it seems like such a disappointment and now this feels like such a better use of the space. So who knows, sometimes you think things are a big mess and that you end up getting something better out of it. So. And look at here, the buddleia trees. So these will grow really tall and they'll have these spikes here, which butterflies love these. They're called butterfly trees.
Oh yeah, Jerry has one of those.
Yeah.
Those
So
nice.
they're spread out throughout the field. So
Really big.
yeah. And then over here we have, this is called Russian sage. And it gets very feathery fronds, but they have a kind of a lavender color and look to them. So that's going to be very exciting. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be nice. People can come out here and paint or have a picnic or just, we made these boulevards really, or alleyways really wide because, I mean, it's not typically how you would lay out a lavender field at all. You would have close alleys so that you could maximize your space and get as many lavender plants in as possible. But this field was so big and we were trying to not only grow lavender, but we were thinking ahead about agritourism and what would be beautiful. So at Soul Food Farm, we've had 3 primary principles that we've used to build the farm, and it's beauty, form, and function. So I try to make sure that everything we do here has at least those 3 components to it. And so part of the idea of these wide alleys was the beauty part and the function part, because we were imagining people like would be in a garden and they would be walking down these long alleyways together and they would feel like they were in a garden. So, and because Soul Food Farm is so big, we have so much acreage, there's plenty of space that you don't see it behind the camera that we can continue to expand our fields in if we wanted to. But for now, this is what we can manage. So Hierbas Y Flores is here. This is Hierbas Y Flores. So it sits on Soul Food Farm, and it's what Rose and I can manage with some 1 or 2 people a year to help us. And it's set up so that people can come and share it. Thank you for taking this little walk through the lavender field with me. And if you want to learn more about what we're doing, you can go to hierbasyflores.com. We have a website about our lavender business. If you're interested in buying lavender plants, you can go to Morningsun Herb Farm, which is just down the street from me. She has a wide selection of lavender plants, and she's the expert, so you can ask her all your questions. And next year, we'll be opening up the field for you pick and a small lavender festival. And if you like us on Facebook, Instagram, or just keep up with hierbasyflores.com, you'll always see our news popping up and what we're doing next and what you can purchase from us or when we open the fields to the public. Good morning, everybody. So we're having our U-Pick today, and I wanted to take a few minutes to show you all the products that Rose and I have developed over the last few years using our lavender essential oil and our flowers and even some of Soul Food Farm's olive oil. So we made these super cute pin cushions for those of you who still sew, and if you remember back in the day, this is where you would put the pins while you're sewing so you could find them. And these are little sachets full of lavender that we picked from our fields, so you could put them in your drawer to make your clothes smell nice, or in your linen closet so your sheets smell nice. These are dried lavender flowers. This is Imperial Gem, and we've put them in these beautiful antique terracotta pots. They're called Victorian terracotta pots, and you can buy these arrangements and have lavender in your house all year long. Here we have lavender hydrosol. So when you make lavender essential oil, you also end up making a flower water. So this is really it's water with little droplets of essential oil in it, and it makes a beautiful face toner, but some people like to just spray it in their room as an air freshener. Here we have our lavender sugar scrub. All the ingredients are organic or local, so it has our lavender essential oil in it. It also has Soul Food Farm's olive oil in it and other beautiful ingredients. And it's in a plastic container, so you can feel safe about bringing it in the bath or the shower, and you don't have to worry about any glass breaking. And then here we have our newest product, which is our Hierbas Y Flores soap. So this is olive oil from Soul Food Farm, lavender essential oil from Hierbas Y Flores, which is the company Rose and I both own. That's our lavender business. And again, all natural organic ingredients in the soap. And the same with the hand lotion, which is really a nice little small package so that you can just put it in your purse and you have some really nice natural hand lotion that you can use. We've producing a lip balm now. This is so nice. It's super moisturizing, so it's a really good, I used to call it chapstick because I'm so old-fashioned, but I think the new hip term is lip balm. So, and then of course this is the workhorse and what started Hierbas Y Flores, which is our lavender essential oil. And this is made with a variety called Mayette. And this is what started our little company. And we produce this once a year from our own fields. And this is my business partner, Rose. And we do this together. Collaborating. And our husband's worst nightmares when we say, we have an idea. And then...
and you're going to build something.
And you're going to build something. So this is a little view of what Hierbas Y Flores is all about. Thank you for joining us.